Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Okay, and we should be going.
I'm sorry, I don't see interpreters. I don't see anything either.
Last time we have like Chinese, and then I have to click it.
Okay, hold on. For some reason it went away. Here, hold on a second.
Ava? Whoa, yeah.
You see them now?
No.
No.
Okay, I don't think interpretation is working. I'm not sure why. I'm sorry, you guys.
Okay.
Okay, if you guys could just announce that each take a turn announcing that the interpretation isn't working tonight.
Yeah. Okay, I'll start first. This is Renee. 大家好，今天呢，我们这个网上的翻译服务不能供应，因为电脑上有出了个问题。谢谢你的时间。Thank you. Okay.
Okay. مساء الخير. للأسف ترجمة باللغة العربية للحدث هذه المساء للأسف مو راضي يشتغل الترجمة، وقاعد نحاول إن نحط لكم اللغة العربية، بس إلى الآن للأسف ما ضبط.
Okay, thank you. We'll ask that if you speak English, if you could please view this presentation on the live stream on YouTube, which I will put in the chat. The link to that I will put in the chat now. Heidi, if you could put that in the chat, Heidi Edwards.
I don't know if I can because I can't open my chat.
Oh, gotcha. I got it. Wow. Okay. Okay, so I think we can go ahead and get started. I want to thank everyone for joining us tonight. This is the final presentation for the Beaverton School District's first ever all virtual Senior College Information Week. We're very happy you're here today. Please feel free to post any questions in the chat, in Zoom or in the YouTube live chat, and I'll be moderating that, and I'll give presenters the opportunity to answer questions at the end. Tonight's presentation will highlight the many incredible opportunities that our robust system of community colleges can provide as a post-secondary option for all of our students. Community colleges offer short-term certificates, specific career pathway trainings, associate's degrees, transfer programs, and more. Please join me in welcoming Heidi Edwards, Admissions and Recruitment Coordinator with Portland Community College.
Thank you, Kelly. It's great to be here with you this evening, or maybe you're viewing this at a different point in time in the future. So I'm Heidi Edwards. I'm an Admissions and Recruitment Coordinator for Portland Community College, working remotely from home, and happy to help you with any questions you have related to whether it be PCC or our Oregon community colleges. In an effort to follow up with you and share more information and follow up with this presentation, we ask that you sign in online at pcc.edu/sign-in. There's a link there that says Beaverton School District Community College Oregon Promise. And from there, you'll hear back from me. You'll have my contact information and additional information. I'm sort of that initial point person for new students planning to attend PCC and happy to help you. So we're going to get started. We're going to get started talking a little bit briefly about Oregon community colleges. And I always like to ask the question, do you know how many Oregon community colleges there are? You can count. You all see my map right here. There are 17 Oregon community colleges. So PCC is just one of the 17. And we're going to talk about a few things tonight that are really not just Portland Community College specific, but really cross the lines with all of our community colleges. So in our area, obviously PCC, we also have Mount Hood, Clackamas. If you go south, Chemeketa. I always like to share with students who are interested in going to school in Corvallis or to OSU that they partner with Lynn Benton Community College, and U of O partners with Lane Community College. So I do personally know students who have in the past and currently are living in those cities and attending those community colleges with intent to transfer to those universities. But I'm going to talk about PCC specifically, just to let you know, we are the largest institution of higher ed in Oregon. So we're larger than any of the public universities. We currently serve around 78,000 students throughout our multiple campuses and centers. And the nice thing, 78,000 people, it's a lot of people, but we have 4 large campuses, and those campuses are bustling, you know, pretty much Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 10 p.m. We offer a diversity of classes. We've been in the community over 50 years, and we pride ourselves on being your community college. Your families are paying taxes most likely into the community college system here. So it is your community college, and we hope you'll take advantage of it. We have over 100 programs of study, some of which I'm going to go through. A lot of online and distance learning. Right now, we are strictly online and in remote operations. Our campuses are closed through spring term, but we're hopeful as the virus passes that we'll be opening up gradually to host classes on campus for you. We have small class sizes, oftentimes much smaller than our local high school classes. So on average, 25 per class. But I've taught classes anywhere from 12 to 15 students in a class. So it's really nice because you get to know your instructors, they get to know you and really personalize your education. We have a number of support services that I will share with you, and then obviously very affordable tuition. We don't say cheaper because it's just as good as any other school that you're going to attend, if not better. It's affordable and less cost, and will often transfer to your local public or even out-of-state schools. So we have 4 main campuses: our Cascade campus, our Rock Creek campus, Sylvania, and Southeast. And we find that a lot of students in the Beaverton School District end up attending either Rock Creek campus, which is located more at the north end of the Beaverton School District boundary, or Sylvania campus, which is more southeast of the Beaverton School District boundary. The opportunities are really open and flexible, though. You may end up attending any one of these. And one thing to take note of is that we do have a free shuttle between our campuses for students. And sometimes for some of you, if you end up applying to PCC and in a career technical program, those career technical programs are stationed at specific campuses. So as an example, at Rock Creek, we host our microelectronics technology and our vet tech program. Sylvania hosts our engineering tech programs, as well as our nursing and some other health professions. So just to give you an idea there, but you can attend any campus to get started with classes with us. And lots of online learning, as I mentioned, and we do have a couple of smaller centers that host classes as well: Willow Creek, Newburgh Center, as well as Hillsborough Center. Moving forward, a little bit about our academic options. Just starting briefly with the this piece here, how you can actually begin your university degree with us. About 50%, give or take, of our students have intent to transfer to a four-year university. And the reason they're starting at the community college is because it's affordable and it's the same coursework that you can transfer to a university. You can also choose from one of our career technical degree programs. Those tend to be anywhere from short-term certificates, 6 to 9 months to a year, up to 2 to 3 years for these degree options, which I'll share with you. And the other thing I like to share with students is that you don't have to know exactly what you want to do, where you want to go, what you want to be in the future. We will help you explore those options. So I like to say that the #1 major or program of study at PCC is really undecided. We're happy to help you navigate and explore the different educational opportunities as well as career and job opportunities for your future. Let's dive into taking a quick look at what some of these academic options look like. So you will see here, this is a listing of our university transfer areas of study. This is very lengthy. There will not be a quiz at the end, but just to show you, as I mentioned before, about half of our student body is working toward either a transfer degree or to transfer to a four-year college and university. There are a number of areas of transfer that you can study with PCC, and even if it's not on this list, there are opportunities beyond this list to study in different areas. So that's something to take note of. You'll also see here, as I mentioned, you could do one of our short-term or 2 to 3 year career technical degrees or certificates. And so this is where we get into really hands-on skill-based learning as it relates to helping make students employable and connect to industry. Many of these career technical degrees and certificates include some type of hands-on learning, as well as if you're in a degree option, rather than a certificate, a short-term certificate, you will often have an internship or some type of external work experience that you get to be able to put on your resume so you're ready to launch into that career and that field shortly after graduation. And for some of our students, some students are employed prior to graduation in some of these fields. I'd like to point out, if you are interested in researching any of these, you've got questions about the degree options that we offer, up here at the top of the page, pcc.edu/programs is a full listing online of our academic options. It goes into each program and gives you additional information and how to start, and can connect you with somebody specifically in that program area. I'm also available personally to help you explore some of these. I'm a generalist in admissions terms, so I can give you a little bit of direction and point you to the information that you may need and answer some general questions for you about these different degrees and certificates. But I also will remind you, you don't have to know exactly what you want to do or study when you attend a community college or PCC. Let's move a little bit to paying for college. So I have a college student, and paying for college is always like the #1 thing that crosses not only parent and support people's minds, but students' minds too. I'm here to let you know that paying for college, for community college, as it's affordable, is very doable for all students. And I'm going to give you some little tips and tricks and information about what you can be doing now to get ready to pay for college. We are about half of the cost of what it is to attend a public university in the state of Oregon. Our resident tuition rate is $123 per credit, and then there are additional fees. And then I like to share with students a little bit of an estimate of how much you may expect in tuition and fees as you get started. So if you're a half-time student, which would mean you're essentially maybe just taking 2 classes or 6 credits, you'll average about $900 a term for tuition and fees. If you are a full-time student, which means you'd be taking 3 to 4, maybe 5 classes, depending on how many credits each is, then you'll be paying closer to that $1,800 per term. The other thing to note is that your high school credit equivalency and college credit equivalency is very different. So while this says a full-time student is taking 12 credits, that may sound like a lot, but that's really only 3 to 4 classes, depending on the class credit counts. So there's a little bit of information online from our PCC website. If you go to pcc.edu/tuition, you can get more information. And you will see comparatively, based on, on average, we say it's anywhere between $5,000 and $6,000 to attend PCC for a full academic year. You compare that to our sister schools, our Oregon Public University schools, you're going to be paying almost double of what you would be paying at PCC. And for many of our Oregon public universities, there is a freshman on-campus living requirement if you live outside of a certain area of the university. So we like to point that out. And then you can also see that our private universities, while exceptional, the cost of tuition is pretty pricey as well there. So I often will recommend to students, apply for a community college and a university, and maybe even a public university or a private university or college, because each of these institutions have excellent scholarships for students that can cover the cost of all of this. So let's jump into that. Lots of different ways to pay for college. And at your high school, you have some exceptional staff who I know personally who are in your counseling centers or in your career and college centers who can help you navigate some of the details of paying for college. I can also help you with that also. So financial aid, first and foremost, and I'm thinking some of you have maybe already applied for financial aid, which is great because the federal financial aid application opened on October 1st. And this is where I tell all students to get started, either to complete the FAFSA, which is the free application for federal student aid, or the ORSA. If you're undocumented or a DACA student, you are eligible to complete the ORSA, which is the Oregon Student Aid application through the state of Oregon. That's the first thing you should do to sort of jumpstart your opportunities to pay for college. Some of you, through the FAFSA, depending on your family income and need, will receive the Pell Grant. And the Pell Grant is a little over $6,000 this year. That would pay for a full year at PCC. If you're eligible for the ORSA, you may receive a $2,000 grant through the ORSA. And that again is for our undocumented and DACA students to complete instead of the FAFSA. You should never pay money to complete either of these applications. There's some little scams out there that they'll take $50 from you or $100 from you to complete the application. Take note that the first letter of the FAFSA, it stands for free. This is a free application, as is the ORSA. So I encourage students to get that done here in the month of October, November, December at the very latest so that you can get that process going. Some of you will be eligible for grants through that application. We also have the Oregon Promise Grant, which I'm actually going to jump into because I have a slide about Oregon Promise. Oregon Promise, the criteria to receive the Oregon Promise is that you're a recent Oregon high school or GED graduate. So you here in the class of 2021 would be eligible. even if you're graduating a little early, let's say in January or February, you'll be eligible for this academic year. You have to graduate with a cumulative 2.5 GPA from high school. And even if you're just a little bit lower than that right now, I encourage you to apply, because you do have through your 8th semester in high school to get up to that 2.5 GPA. You also need to attend any one of the 17 Oregon community colleges within 6 months of graduation. So if you are an early graduate, let's say graduating in January, you need to be enrolled in summer term at a local community college. But for those of you graduating in June, you would need to be enrolled in fall term, which typically starts in September. You would need to be enrolled in fall term and attending an Oregon community college to utilize this money. You also have to be a resident of Oregon at least 12 months prior to attending college, and you have to have filed the FAFSA or the ORSA. Okay, so it's very important. Do the FAFSA or ORSA first. Oregon Promise is a very easy application that I can help you with. Staff within your schools can help you with. That application sometimes just takes 20 to 30 minutes. There's no essay. It's really easy to do. And that will help you pay for 2 years at an Oregon community college. And I know one question folks probably have is there an income requirement for Oregon Promise? And the answer is, there is this year, and the state of Oregon implemented Oregon Promise, I want to say 5 or so years ago. And there have been some years where there have been no income requirements and others where there have. They currently have an income requirement because of the state funding and the budget levels of the state budget. They've applied an income level, and I can talk with you more about that if you need additional detail. I say apply anyway, because you never know what your financial state may be, and if it changes, there's opportunities for that to be available for you. OSAC scholarships, so you will see and hear more about this over probably this year as seniors. OSAC is the Oregon State agency that offers scholarships to Oregon residents. They have over $18 million in scholarships for Oregon residents, not just the young graduating from high school students, but also those of us who are a little older planning to return to school. They're really open for any Oregon resident. I encourage you to apply for the OSAC. And the great news is, once you've applied for the Oregon Promise Grant, you have essentially completed the very beginning of the OSAC scholarship. And so the OSAC scholarship is a scholarship application that is open through February, but I say get a jump start on it and get that done now. I know a number of students who've received Oregon Promise and OSAC scholarships. And then you'll also notice that we have our PCC Foundation scholarships. We also have our Future Connect scholarship, and we also have payment plans. I'm going to jump forward because I have a slide for our foundation scholarships. So PCC, we have a foundation with about $2 million in scholarships for students. I highly encourage current high school students to apply for PCC scholarships, even if you're getting federal financial aid, Oregon Promise, OSAC, other scholarships, and a PCC scholarship. All of that money stacks up and you receive it all. Let me say that again. You don't have to stop with just 1 or 2 applications for financial aid. You will, if you're recognized and earn those scholarships, you will receive all of those. What happens is it's initially dispersed. Most scholarships are dispersed and grants dispersed initially to the school, and then anything in return comes back to you. And that can pay for housing, transportation, books, food, rent. you name it, or put it in the bank if you're planning on continuing your education. The neat thing about the PCC Foundation Scholarships is also through the foundation, we have a separate scholarship and they have a separate website. It's called Future Connect. Future Connect is for first generation or low income students who you have to go through the Future Connect application process in order to apply. Also complete the FAFSA or ORSA as you do with any of the PCC Foundation scholarships. You guys will be hearing more about Future Connect over this year, as that's a very popular scholarship application for Beaverton students, as are our PCC Foundation scholarships. And I threw in another little something that's pretty special about Beaverton School District. So in the school district, we have a program called Opportunity Knox. This is a program for current BSD juniors and seniors to take one class at PCC their junior and senior year each term. So the great thing about this is that this is essentially a jump start to your college education. I know a number of Beaverton area students who are currently participating in this, and they're continuing to attend classes at their home high school, but they're taking one class with us at PCC as that jump start into college. The school district pays for that class, but you do have to go through their process to get permission to take that class and make sure that you meet the prerequisites for the class. The information is online from this really long website, but what I recommend you do is just Google search BSD Opportunity Knox. It's an extension of our early college high school program. And so you can find it online by Googling, or you can get in touch with me and I can share with you that contact information and additional details as well. It's an excellent opportunity. And I heard that we didn't utilize it as much last year as we could have and should have. So we want to make sure folks know about that. Few things about PCC support services. We offer a number of resources and support centers for students, anywhere from academic advising to counseling services, career exploration centers. We have our Dreamer Center. It's the only one in Oregon. The Dreamer Center is for our undocumented and DACA students. Disability services. If students have been on an IEP, had an IEP or a 504 plan, or have any other special learning needs or physical needs, we can help make accommodations and help support a student through our disability services office. And I'm happy to share additional information about that if you contact me. We have a little bit of an orientation that students go through in an application for that, but it's a fabulous opportunity. Student learning centers have free tutoring at the Rock Creek campus. Well, actually at all of our campuses, we offer tutoring in over 30 subject areas. We have student government, our multicultural centers, our queer resource centers for our LGBTQI plus and allies to participate in, Women's Resource Center and Veterans Resource Center. All of these opportunities are open to all of you to seek support and guidance and to also feel a part of our community. They often sponsor some really great activities and events on campus. And even in this virtual world, they're all working and supporting people and students through our virtual learning. And last but not least, one of the most important things you can do right now as a senior is, we talked about applying for federal financial aid or the ORSA and Oregon Promise, but also apply to college. Every college and university has an application. Our application is online at pcc.edu/admissions. You will want to complete the first-time college student link and the steps that are listed from there. As a first-time college student, we will recognize you as a recent high school graduate. Even if you have taken dual credit classes, it's very important to apply as a first-time college student. We have you reapply. If you've taken PCC dual credit, we have you reapply as a first-time college credit student. And then you'll see on this website, there are some additional steps for you to take. And those are the steps that I can help you with and address questions about as well. I am going to take questions, but I do want to just remind folks that in an effort to follow up with you and offer some support for you personally, I'd love for you to sign in at pcc.edu/sign-in. From there, you'll get a follow-up email from me, and I'll include this information and then follow up with any other information you need and questions you have. But I do want to open up for questions, and I know Kelly is monitoring the chat. Has it been blowing up, or is it pretty?
We do have a few, Heidi. Thank you so much.
Awesome.
That's so much great information. And I've added the sign in, the link for the sign in into the chat. So if you haven't signed in, please do. A couple of questions have come up. So the first one is, can you transfer PCC credits to out of state or private universities?
Absolutely, you can. And I'll give you a good personal example. I didn't mention that I'm a proud parent of two PhD students. One graduated last year and is taking PCC credits to transfer out of state. So you absolutely can. We have students who have transferred, you know, as close as Washington and California, but we have students who transferred to Yale, Stanford, Harvard, and internationally utilizing PCC credits. So you absolutely can. What we recommend is that you contact the university or college you're thinking about or planning to transfer to get any specific suggestions that they have regarding the coursework you should take. Some universities want you to take specific classes at their institution, but for the most part, a lot of the general education courses that you're going to take your first and second year at PCC, they will be transferable just depending on the institution. We also, one thing I didn't mention is every year we sponsor our transfer fair. And so we bring in 30 to 40 representatives from different colleges and universities around the country. Most of them are sort of in the Pacific Northwest, California, but we help students, we want to help students make that transition to university successful and easier. So absolutely, great question. Thank you for that.
Love it. Sky's the limit from PCC. It's so great. Let's see, next one. Given PCC is cheaper, is it academically considered similar to other universities?
Yes. And one thing I always say is it's not cheaper, it's more affordable. People hear me say that all the time. It's affordable, absolutely. Let's say you're taking a speech 100 class or a biology 101 class or even a 200 level class. That class has the same, if it's transferring to a university or a private college, we meet the same criteria in our course requirements as it does at the transfer institution. So the same rigor. The great thing about PCC courses, aside from that affordability, is the small class size. Some freshman classes at the university level, and I'll give you a personal example. I used to teach at Portland State University, loved it there. I taught a freshman class of 150 students. 150 freshman students. At PCC, you're not going to be in a class with anywhere over than probably 32 students is the max. On average, it's about 25. But yes, those classes are the same classes that will transfer to the university level as well.
Great, thank you. Okay, we have a question about Oregon Promise, about the income limit and if it's on the Oregon Promise website.
Yes, take a
I
look.
want to explain that. I did put something in the chat, but explaining that. Yes. be helpful.
Yeah, so the EFC is the expected family contribution. That is a number delivered through that FAFSA or ORSA application. And what the state has done this year is they have that EFC cap. And so again, I'll give you another personal example. So my son who just graduated, he's a 2020 Beaverton School District grad. Our income is just a little bit too much for him to get any financial aid other than loans. He also is not eligible for Oregon Promise because we make a little bit too much. So what we've done is supplemented his education with scholarships, either through OSAC or the institution or community. Our labor union, our teacher labor union through the college has a scholarship that he earned. So there's a lot of different opportunities, but that EFC, there is a cap and it is on the OregonStudentAid.gov website.
Yes, thank you. A couple of questions about opportunities for sports, clubs, and sorority and fraternity organizations.
Yeah, excellent questions. So we do not have sororities and fraternities with PCC. The closest you'll get is our honor society, which is Phi Theta Kappa. Phi Theta Kappa is an honor society that recognizes students attending two-year colleges. And it's an excellent opportunity for community college students because there's a lot of networking and connections as well as scholarships through Phi Theta Kappa. We do have two competitive athletic teams. So we have a men's and women's soccer team that are hosted out of the Rock Creek campus. They play over at the Hillsborough Stadium, as well as our basketball team, our men's and women's basketball teams. They are housed out of the Cascade campus. Those students are eligible for scholarships and they compete competitively throughout the Pacific Northwest. And so if you're interested in either one of those, if you just Google search PCC athletics, you'll see that they both come up. They have tryouts usually in the spring. And if you want me to connect you with their coaches or the athletic director, I'm happy to do that too. Clubs, we also have club sports. So like club volleyball, there was some club cross-country track at one point in time. The clubs are really sort of, they change every year. I know at the Rock Creek campus, we had about 30 clubs at one point in time. And it's anywhere, not just sports related or athletics, but it could be related to a common interest. I know at one point in time, we had an artichoke club. I think they met weekly and made recipes out of artichokes and had lunch together. So there's a lot of things sort of similar to what you have in high school. You have high school clubs. You can sponsor the same types of clubs at PCC as well.
Awesome, lots of opportunities.
Questions? Did I answer all those questions, Kelly?
I think you did. Yeah, I think
it's a great one.
Hit all those on the head. Let's see, there's a few more. Does PCC require 2 years of foreign language? Great question.
No, we don't. Very good question. We do not, but if you plan to transfer to a 4-year university or college, they still may, but you can take those 2 years at PCC. My own kids are doing that and have done that through PCC. But no, we do not require 2 years or even a year or any foreign language. We just offer a lot.
That's great. I have a question here. What could we do to sign up for a practice art college?
A practice art college?
Jaden, do you want to specify in the chat more specifically what you mean by that? Maybe we'll move on to the next question while you do that. There are some great art programs at PCC.
Oh, yes. So we offer, I'm just turning it to the sign-in slide for those of you who haven't been able to sign in yet. Our art programs and offerings are really diverse. So we offer anywhere from painting, drawing, ceramics, oh gosh, you name it. There's so many. Photography,
graphic design.
so many opportunities. And so whether it's visual arts or music, we have a separate music department that has both vocal, instrumental, as well as professional music production. And we have our theater arts program as well. So a lot within the scope of arts.
Great. I hope that helps answer your question, Jaden. One last question here from Ella, who has started doing her Oregon Promise app, but is getting the message that she can't submit her grades until first semester grades have posted in February.
Yes.
She was just wondering if that's normal.
That is totally normal. And you are, thank you for bringing that up. I highly recommend that, and I believe all of our Beaverton schools are verifying high school GPA with OSAC and for Oregon Promise. So in your Oregon Promise application, you have a choice to either submit your transcript or to have your high school verify your GPA. Choose the latter of the two. Don't go through the hassle of submitting your transcript. Have your high school verify your GPA, and they can confirm how they go about doing that. But all of the high schools that I've worked here in Beaverton are all doing that. So we want to make it easy for you. What you want to make sure you absolutely have in your Oregon Promise, which is the most commonly missed thing, is make sure if you have a social security number, you include that. Sometimes students will skip that and forget to come back to it. And make sure that the little toolbar says that you're 100% complete with the application. But yes, you are having the same experience every other student is having right now, because we do have to wait for those grades to come in, but you are ahead of the pack. It's great that you're doing it right now.
Nice job.
Yeah.
That looks like all of the questions. I believe we've covered them.
Great. Well, I would just like to say, if you have additional questions, there's things that we didn't mention today, or you want to expand on anything that we spoke about today, please connect with me. It's myself. I have a couple of other peers I work with that I can connect you with. Also, if you're a Spanish speaker, one of my colleagues, Teresa Salinas, who's doing our Spanish presentation tonight, she works out of our Sylvania campus and can assist you as well. But by signing in tonight, you will get a follow-up email from me, and I'll be your point of contact, and really looking forward to seeing you at PCC. And we can always schedule time together via phone, Zoom, virtual, you name it, email. I'm happy to help you.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Heidi. Thank you all for being here tonight. And please, yes, follow up with Heidi, follow up with your high school counselor, the career and college readiness counselor at your school, and let them know that you're interested and would like to find out more. Have a great night. Thank you all so much.